You should show up early on the calls. It makes it more fun.
Hola, Mr. Jorge. How are you? You're muted.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. It is good, good, good. It's a great Monday. My little black book of awesome here.
Good. I submitted a counter offer today, so we'll see if they take it.
Fingers crossed on that one. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm working on a CMA for another one. We'll see.
All right. Jason's with us. Kelly's here. Robin's here.
Did John tell you about that offer that we thought it was a scam?
That wasn't.
That was not, but they needed to resubmit the offer because
Get it. Thank you, Zoom. So annoying. But we know that there's a lot of things changing in the marketplace because of the investor pools, the cash money, all the huge amounts of capital being influxed into the market because other investment areas aren't as stable. When somebody is, working with a group of 20 people and they say, hey, let's just all throw 10 grand in on the pot. Let's create an LLC and we can go buy a house in Tucson and we can share the profits. Would you do that? If someone says, hey, we can buy this house cash for 200 grand. I got 19 other people to invest with us. We just need 10 grand each. And you'd be a 1/20th owner of this property. Actually, you'd be a 1/20th owner of this LLC that owns a property. But they're doing that, and they're taking those LLCs and they're buying multiple houses. So I don't know about you, but that's something that if you could turn 10 into 15 or 20,000 over 10 or 15 years, that's a good investment. We don't think of those as big returns, but they really are because you've got something that could have been, sitting in an account making 0.1 or 0.3% interest, turn around and making 3% interest. 4% interest. So big changes there. So you're going to start seeing some offers, some listers, some people buying up houses that are not real entities. So always challenge it, call them up. If it's an out-of-state license or something like that, research it, or just pick up the phone and say, hey, I got your offer. Tell me about it. Tell me the situation. Tell me about the company. It's very difficult for somebody to scam the purchase of a house. And it doesn't really do them anything. Most of your scams on the purchase side is when they're coming from wiring because they want you to wire the money. So you'll see people that'll put fake houses for sale, fake listings, but our MLS does a really good job of weeding that stuff out. So, well, guys, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to just ask, speaking of scams, I keep hearing like on the radio about protecting your title, about title theft. Do you know anything about that? Is that like somebody go on and forge your name on a title and then borrow money against your home? And is that some kind of, insurance that you need to have?
You have title insurance, but that's just full out fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
If your house is paid off free and clear, then you have that situation. But if you're not, then you have a big encumbrance on the title. That would be a lawsuit against the person lending money on it. So it would create a big situation.
Okay, that's good to know. I keep hearing it on the radio. I didn't know what all that was about.
Give a call to a title company and kind of see what their thoughts and play on what they've seen, because they're going to see all of those title things happen, and they're going to get a lot more feedback on the back end of that stuff. So it's a really good conversation to have, but you can never be too safe, period. Taking precautions, making sure you get things protected. I've only ever had one client that we've dealt with that had a locked title, it's because they were a federal judge and all of their information was locked. So it's like they didn't exist. You couldn't find them in a search. You couldn't find them anywhere online because they were a federal judge, which makes it nice because then it's all just shut down, closed out. So, all right, my friends, how's your weekend been before we jump into the material?
Yeah, so this one was particularly interesting.
There we are. Jorge, we got you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that this one was particularly different because they had mistakes on the original offer with the license numbers and all that stuff. But also you have multiple states in play. So you had a company from Georgia using a realtor from Houston, and the realtor from Houston was using the assistant from Orlando, and the title company was in Colorado. But they also have an office in Phoenix. So that was the key, issue here, that there were a lot of mistakes and they had to resubmit the offer. But, I talked to the title company and they did tell me that they buy about 100 houses a day, or at least submit 100 offers a day in different houses around the United States. I mean, it's just insane.
Believe it.
So
There is some craziness going on out there. And our investors that are working are getting beat out by deals. Like I got an offer under a deal under contract out in Marana for $125,000. That had multiple offers. It needs about $100,000 worth of work. So there's these money pools from all over the country are coming in to buying up houses. So your buyers are getting beat out by even investors and stuff like that. So this is more of an important reason why we need to get listings. We need to be the holders of the market. A show of hands, who's had a listing? Right? Jennifer can raise her hand soon because she just got one signed. Charity's had a couple, 1 or 2. Jason's had 9 or 8, 15, maybe 30 or something. But when you're working listings, what's easier, being a buyer's agent or a listing agent?
listing.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it being a buyer's agent?
11.
11, 12, 15 maybe? How difficult is it being a listing agent?
2.
2, 3, right? You put a ton of work up front. You go hunt them, you find them, you trap them, you get them to love you, you get them to sign a contract, you get their house sold. That's it, right? It's a whole lot easier. So we're going to focus a lot on the listing side of things. So I know Mike was with me on that mastermind. So I'm glad that he's here, and it's awesome he's here. So he's going to play into it. So the questions that we asked during this mastermind were questions that cover is like, how do we get more listings? What are the top 3, environments that people are finding listings? How they're handling objections and conversations, they're working with negotiations, how they're doing their marketing, and then leveraging the sale, leveraging the buyer and stuff like that. So one thing that we kind of found was the top 3 sources. What do you think they were?
Cold calling.
Okay, cold calling is one. What else?
Open houses.
Sphere.
Open houses, and then I heard Sphere. Who said Sphere?
Sphere of influence. I did.
Jennifer said Sphere. Mike, what were the top 3?
I had Sphere and database.
Sphere and database.
I didn't get the third one.
So the top 3 sources, they asked 10 different. Oh, that's pretty cool. Billy left me a note in my notebook and I just found it. I finally got to that page. The top 3, they asked 10 agents across the nation. We're talking billions in production between these 10 agents. Billions with a B. That's $1,000 million in transactions a year. Can you guys quantify that? Like that's like they do collectively out of 10 agents what this market center did last year, the entire market center between these 10. And their top 3 sources were Sphere of Influence, SOI, agent referrals from other marketplaces, other market centers, and database. You want to know the funny thing is, Olin? They didn't say cold calling at all.
That's beautiful.
So what does that tell you? What does that tell you, guys? What should be your focus on your lead generation efforts?
Building your database.
If you guys don't have background noise, unmute yourself. I'd love to have the conversation. I'm really good at reading lips now.
I just have like a fan going right here. Can you hear it? Can you hear this fan that I have like literally like right next to the computer?
I can just hear the guy on the screen.
Cool.
Rock on, Owen, rock on. But that's the thing. So sphere of influence. So one of the things that we talked about, on, like Mike was bringing up, was database. What they did with the database is they got deep with it. Instead of being very wide, they didn't have a huge database. We're not talking like tens or 15,000 people. What they did is they had a deep database. And what I mean by that is, instead of having a ton of friends and a ton of family and a ton of people in their database, they had a ton of information on those people. They knew family members, friends, birthdays, college, graduation, home anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, favorite colors, animals, favorite snacks. You name it, they knew it. How would that service you and your business is understanding your clients better?
It's a part of like just kind of building a relationship with somebody and having that trust in them and being, it's like the top of mind. Once you have a relationship with somebody, you're always kind of top of mind.
Right? But also, if you knew when their home anniversary was, would you understand when they're most likely to buy another house?
Yes.
If you knew they bought the house 3 years ago and you knew their interest rate on the house, would you be able to call them up and say, hey, I think you can get a lower interest rate if you refinance your house right now?
Yes.
Or maybe you can think about selling it, right? Another thing is they did move up buyers, right? A lot of their database, people that bought houses, my buyer's agents right now that are servicing buyers, are they going to be buying what they want, or are they going to be buying what they can get?
They can get.
So what are we going to do in 3 years?
Sorry.
What are you sorry for, Charity? We didn't hear anything.
I got ringers going off.
But what of our buyers today, the buyers that missed out on their dream home and bought the house they could get, would that be something you want to put in your database?
Yes.
Right? Because what can we do in a couple years from now?
Oh,
Find them that dream home.
Move them up, right? Move them up to the next level. So that was where a lot of business is coming from. Now, mind you, a lot of these agents have been in business for a long time, so they've created this database over time. But if you had a friend that bought a house a few years ago, what's keeping you from taking over the mind share of the agent that hasn't called them in 6 months, 2 years? My homeowners out there, when you bought your house, have you talked to the agent since you bought your house?
no.
Nope.
Fucking shame, isn't it? The guy that sold me my house hasn't talked to me in months. Cassie laughed. She's outside my office because she knows that I'm the one that sold my own house. But that's the thing, is those agents that have been selling houses and not following up with their clients have created orphans. So if you got friends, family members that bought houses in other areas, and you're talking to them about them and they just don't like it, or something's not working out, what's keeping you from taking that interaction? Because you have a deep relationship with them. It's a term. It's called scuba diving, not water skiing. Who sees more fish, the guy water skiing and the one scuba diving?
Bus.
Scuba diving, right? If you're on the Magic School Bus, it's the bus diving. Miss Frizzle gets all the deals. Another part of the database, Mikey, was the boosters. Is that what they said, right?
Yeah, the
Database.
boost.
Explain that for me.
Yes.
Basically partnering up with professionals that also have databases that can be used to boost your own. So you dig deeper into professionals. So like divorce attorneys, probate attorneys, salon, stylists. That was part of what I got with that is the question I had on that one was, how do you go about getting leads from those professionals and partnering with them? Like what kind of scripts and stuff would we be talking about? But The other thing I did like also is how they mentioned, you know, Ace and True Value hardware stores are locally owned. So partnering up with business like that are locally owned and use coupons and mailers that you can get those companies to help pay for your marketing.
What was your notes on that one, Jason? Jason was there also too. He was closer to the front of the row.
I was trying to read and listen, so I'm not sure what your question was. Or what was it? What did you ask? I'm reading the notes, but I was trying to listen to what he was saying, and I didn't hear
So what was your notes on the database booster?
Database booster was, yeah, divorce lawyers, local businesses, and speed to action. That's the wrong notes on that one. I don't have it right away offhand, but I'm looking for it. Database boosters. Get their database professional, give you referrals, divorce attorneys, use social media to boost database, business, do 3D businesses of local business, like do a Matterport of the local business.
So another thing is a show of hands, guys, and if you don't have your cameras on, it's very helpful for you to be participating if you do. Cameras on. Raise your hand if you've driven by an Ace Hardware in the last week.
Just up there.
Just stop there, just there, right? Well, stop in and go check them out. Make a friend. Bring them a stack of business cards and then ask them how you can support their business. Right? Like Mike said, they're all privately owned. It's something I forgot about. But when people go to Ace Hardware, are they not there fixing a house? Ace is the place with the friendly hardware folks.
Helpful hardware, man.
Helpful people, right? No, Cash is all, no, not at all. Not at all. So fuck Ace. But no, people go to Ace because they need some support. They need a little bit more intimate. Home Depot and Lowe's, I'm sorry, I was a manager for one for many years. They're designed for the people that kind of already know what they're doing. Get your shit, get out. We'll make sure you get it all. We want to know what project you're working on so we can get you everything you need so you can spend as much money as possible and get out. Ace is the place is like, okay, what are you working on? No, you don't need all that stuff. All you need is this screw to fix this bolt and you're good to go. Right? It's because they help people. So if you've made friends with somebody at Ace and they're all like, yeah, no, you think you're fixing up your house, what are you doing that for? Oh, we're selling it. Hey, you know what? My buddy Nina is the one that's been doing all the stuff. And, you know, she's a great agent. You should give her a call. Here's her card. Would that not be helpful?
So funny that we're having this conversation because, you know, this morning I was racking my brain and trying to think outside the box. And my last, you know, I worked for the past 5 years for a bank. And so I reached out, or I'm in the process of reaching out exactly right now. But I just talked to one of the financial advisors. And of course, he can't give me information because he's got more confidentiality than, you know, you can't say anything about clients in a bank. But he had me set him up about 3 months ago on a drip just because he wants to watch the market himself to have conversation with his clients. And so I texted him, I said, you know, Chad, what do you think about this market? He said, expensive, exclamation mark. And I said, exactly. I said, get me some listings. He said, I'm on it. Because I mean, he has these conversations with people on the daily about if they're going to sell their house or where they're going to invest their money. And so that's what I'm working on today is reaching out to my contacts within the bank because they're already there. So.
That's good.
So banks, who else is going to talk to people about their life moves? Something I don't go to?
Your dentist.
Barbers.
No, I meant you. I was just thinking about a dentist. I get it.
Yeah.
I just received a lead. People moving in from Florida. Yesterday, I was on my way to my open house, and my barber called me and said, "Hey, I got some friends coming in from Florida. They need you." So I've got them on a system, and they're coming in on the 19th of next month.
That's where it's at. So it's creating deeper business boosters. And how do we support local business? Right? You guys can, that's what Jace was talking about, doing the 3D business tours, and I call it the 360 support. So you could do a virtual tour of somebody's business. So if it's like a pool, tile, finished goods stuff, you could do a virtual tour, a Facebook Live with your group of friends. Support local. We have huge networks in Tucson that are just about supporting local. And there's 1,000 agents in Tucson that are in those pages, but how many of those agents are going to go out of their way and stop by Bob's Ace Hardware on Golf Links in Pantano? I don't know if that's exactly where it's at. I'm making up things. And create a relationship.
You know,
Well, what agent? Go ahead, Mike.
well, I just also thinking, other businesses that, especially with everything opening back up, they're still wanting to reach out to people and get them in as restaurants, locally owned restaurants, just work together and get a program going where you can add them to your mailers as far as like a coupon, so they know that it's working
Leverage.
on their behalf as well.
Leverage. If you were to do some pop buys, you got 200 people in your database and you pop by and you gave a discount, a $5 coupon, right? John, you still on the call? If John drops off 200 of his coupons for his smoothie shop, not that John's an agent with us, but if John wasn't, if he did that, do you think that would help John's business? You got 200 people that he has talked to that he's going to give this gift card to. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, this is John. John owns a smoothie shop. So if you want some coupons to put in your mailers to help his business, just saying. But it's all part of supporting local, right? I met a new friend last week, and we were talking about real estate. We're talking about stuff, and Mikey actually came up. He's like, "Oh yeah, do you know Mike Whining? I think he's an agent at Keller Williams." I'm like, "Yeah, he's a friend of mine. Why?" He's like, "Oh, he owns E7 Graphics. They did the wrap on my race car."
Wow.
And I talked to Mike, and I was like, "Mike, do you remember this guy?" Mike's like, "Yeah, I remember that guy." It was just a simple interaction, and like it wasn't very deep relationship, but the fact that there was a connection, and this other guy was just like, "Yeah, I remember him. He's awesome." Like, because you can make a quick thing by having a local business that just touches somebody. So creating those relationships and then go deep with them. The deeper we focus our relationships, the wider our business will get. I'd much rather have 5 best friends than 50 acquaintances. Some of us would just like to have 1. So next thing on here was social media to share the awesomeness of the team. Sharing the awesomeness of what you're doing, right? Jennifer, her positive vibes, positive energy. I'm positive I haven't seen shit about your $800,000 listing.
Wait, it is on my business page. I haven't shared it to my personal Facebook yet, but I did post it to my business page.
But
It goes live like tomorrow, so I need to finish my MLS update today, which I'm going today.
How many of your friends, how many of your personal friends would be over the moon ecstatic about you putting the house up for sale, your first listing?
Wow.
I totally got a picture of the sign this morning. That's what I was doing at 6:30 this morning. I was at my seller's house taking pictures of my sign officially up.
Why isn't it not on Facebook yet?
Because I've been working.
At 6:45, you weren't.
No, but it's proven that most people are active on Facebook about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So that is the best time to post at 7:45 in the morning and like 4:30, 5 o'clock p.m.
There's actually an app you can get based on your database. When the best time to post is. It's called When to Post. Weird app, right?
Hmm?
She's right. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you shit tomorrow if I don't see it.
Okay.
You give more exposure. Go ahead and throw the @Big Dan Caldwell. Tag me in it. So excited to get my first listing. Love Keller Williams. Thanks, Big Dan. Blah, blah, whatever. Do multiple posts. Get everyone to see that friggin' thing. And then you guys, when you see a post from each other, comment, like, boost the algorithm.
Yes.
Anybody who's posting, feel free to tag me so that you get more exposure. The more people you tagged as well.
And then if you ever post to stories or you see a friend posting to stories, always like it or love it, because the more likes the story gets, the more people it's shown to. Stories.
my Facebook jumped open. And there was a story there from my buddy Cale McKay, who's one of the partners in Fusion Plumbing. Their business has blown up in the last year because of stuff like that. So social media is key. It's about sharing the awesomeness of the team, not just the deal, not just the coming soon, under contract, not just those. I say not just those because those are still important, but it's also about the exposure of the team. Like, Jen, you could showcase Chris. Thank you so much for making me get out of my comfort zone and helping work with me every night. You're the best fiance ever. Olin, right? You could put on there, Robin, thank you for being my script partner every day. You're freaking amazing. Your cowboy hat is weird, but I love you anyway. But these are things, it's showcasing the team, right? And when you guys grow your businesses, you're going to have a bigger team. I love celebrating victories with you guys because it allows us to have conversations that show what you're doing is helping people. And on the same side of that, it's not about helping sell houses. It's about helping the community. How many people are employed by your transaction? Let's go through that, right? How many people are engaged? Like, you've got a listing, right? We're going to talk about Jennifer's $800,000 listing on the Northwest side. No brag or anything, mic drop, whatever. No HOA, acreage, horse property, nice house, recently remodeled. Just saying.
That's awesome.
How many people are going to be engaged in that conversation now, right? We have the buyer's agent. Let's just start with Jennifer. We got Jennifer, right? We got the brokerage, which has compliance, broker, coaching, front support, right? Somebody to cut the checks at title, the escrow officer, the title manager, the inspector, the admin at the inspector's office, right? We can continue down that line where there's 20 or so people involved, right? Did you ever think about that? It's not about just you buying and selling houses. What are you doing? You're putting people to work. Without you, would they be working? That's a pretty cool story to tell on Facebook, isn't it? Right? How about this, Jennifer? You find everybody's social media handle you can that went into helping you get that listing, and you tag them. When it's all said and done, you want to say, I want to say thank you to blank, 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 blank. Because after all, real estate's not about the buying and selling of houses. It's about changing lives. You guys know I give you real estate gold for your social media. You just got to use it. I steal this stuff from other successful agents across the nation. It works. I used to do the videos when I did my closings. I did a video. I want to say thank you for Steve Lemons over at Fairway and Carol Ruth at Title Security and Dave over at Dave's Inspections. All these things, like, show care and candor and give back. The photographer, the paint guy, the guy that did the inspections, the guys that did the repairs, like, showcase all of that. Like, wouldn't that be a massive post? I couldn't have done it without you. It's like the longest Academy Award speech ever. And I think it would be awesome. Just saying. So one of my notes on there, Mikey, is the boosters. How do we get more? How do we get scripts? And we're gonna work on that. Having those conversations. What can we do around creating more relationships with our database boosters? And that's the divorce lawyers, the bankruptcy attorneys, trustees, all of those elements. So.
And piggybacking on that, for social media, also, of course, talk about the team and the people you work with and everything is also great, but also do a little bit of educational stuff too. Like the one that they really mentioned was the iBuyer, and pitching what they're losing by accepting an offer before they even go to market in this market where bidding wars are created every day. So just kind of educate your sphere on what iBuyers are actually kind of a disservice to them. In other words, they say they're going to provide market price. Well, how could that be if they buy your home at market price and then turn around and sell it for market price? It's not enough of a time frame for them to mark it up and make money and stay in business. So that was another thing that I looked at. And then also Dan also brought up a Another good one with QR codes. I don't know if you got a chance to dig into that one a little deeper about capturing data.
I have one quick question too, real fast. We moved on. How many acres was Jennifer's listing that she just got? Her $800,000 one.
Wait, can you ask that again? Sorry.
Yeah, like where and how many acres is that listing that you got that's going to be going active tomorrow?
Okay, it is in northwest Tucson, bordering like Oro Valley or Marana area.
Okay.
It is 3.35 acres. It's got 4-bedroom main house. It has a detached guest house that is 400 square foot, and then a separate storage work house shed.
Sure. Cool. That works. Thank you. I might have somebody interested in that.
There's a teaser video on my business Facebook. So if you look up Jennifer Ritchie, licensed realtor, I just posted it like maybe 2 hours ago.
Cool. I'll have to go take a look at that. Perfect.
It's just it's like a 20-second teaser.
That works.
There you go.
Thank you.
So to touch on what Mike was talking about, QR codes, when you're doing your database stuff and you're doing your circle prospecting and you're doing something, maybe set up a website where they can get a list of all your discount codes, your vendor support, your vendors list and stuff like that with a QR code that they can just scan from their phone, but it takes them to a website which will capture their information. So a lot more that than we haven't covered this second, but that was definitely something to look into, is what can we do to create an opportunity for a data trap so you can get more information and you don't have to give people stuff. All you have to do is have them scan a QR code. For sale by owners, a lot of people are scared of those right now. Use programs, to get those information. They have Vortex, Redfin, Land Voice, all kinds of stuff tell you about the for sale by owners that have popped up in your area. Then run your comps on that house based on what's going on and have a conversation with them and show them that their price versus the list price and present the value you can bring to them. One thing I absolutely loved in the conversation was that a good agent doesn't cost a seller anything. Right? What does that mean?
Sell it above what they wanted.
Yeah, if I sell your house for more than you wanted to and you're going to net more money, I haven't cost you a thing.
It's just gravy.
That's just gravy on top. I've made you money. So think about that way. A good listing agent doesn't cost the seller anything. It's a great way of thinking about it. So definitely purposeful. Circle prospect around the properties you've made offers on. Right? If you got a buyer that's looking for a house in, Dove Mountain, and you've put in 6 different offers and they've all gotten beat, can you not take that same buyer or a pool of buyers and go circle prospect those houses? Say, hey, we beat, we submitted an offer on a house down the street. We got beat by 15 other offers. We've got a buyer that's interested. If you're wanting to sell, let's have a conversation. How is that to be helping you with your buyers if you go and find them sellers?
You can also potentially pick up listings.
Right? As kids, we were told not to double dip, right? In real estate, no one's told you not to.
Do it with salsa every time.
There you go. Get it spicy, get it dipped. And then a lot of their leads are coming from farming strategic price points. So farming strategic price points, what does that mean?
I don't recall that one. I mean, I recall.
It means going and finding what they want in their price point, even if it's not listed, right? You just go start knocking on doors and say, hey, I got a buyer for you.
You want to make sure it's in a price point where you can have multiple buyers in the event that your buyer doesn't want it. Is a $900,000 home a strategic price point? Not really. 400, possibly. 300, possibly. 200, absolutely. So, but farming and price points strategically. And I say strategically because some of these people we're talking to are high luxury agents. They do tons of $1 million deals. Some of you will do that. Some of you want to be that luxury agent that wants to touch the multi-million-dollar deals over and over again. So I want you to think about whatever you're going to do your business, target those people and go after them. You can sell 5 $200,000 homes, or you can sell $1 million home. Who put in more work?
It's on the 5, of course.
Right? Depends. Trick question on that one. Right? 5 deals is a lot of work, but also so is selling $1 million house. So next, we talked about lead conversions. Lead conversion is a big thing for people. We're generating leads and they want to turn them into opportunities. What are they doing to win? Well, someone already said it. Jason already said it. Speed the lead. What does that mean to you when I say speed the lead?
First 5 minutes. Usually when a lead comes in within the first 5 minutes, you have a 400% higher chance of converting them. After that, it drops off pretty sharp.
Would you be surprised if I told you it was less than 2 minutes before that conversion dropped?
Dude.
And why is that? When you're at home and you're surfing the internet, are you on your computer for 5 minutes? Or do you pull out your phone, you look at something, you submit something, you put your phone down, you walk away, you come back to your phone later on, right? It's about 2 minutes. And when you're at home tonight, check yourself and watch yourself doing that. You're going to find out that it indeed is a shorter time than you think. It's because if we call them fast enough, we're going to get them still sitting at their computer or holding the phone in their hand. And if we wait, they could have been called and talked to by 15 other agents. And then speed to action. Get them to do something. It's not just about having a conversation, it's about moving the process forward. Jason, Mike, you guys have any other notes on that?
I have speed to action, educate the seller, set the expectation, script what role in the process, why use me, how can we ensure I will get the highest dollar, and then heads up Monday, advertise picks, Tuesday, Facebook ads, send to agents, MLS, get a process, double down in the marketing. Not sure what all my notes mean, but that's what I put.
I do. I know. My recall is pretty good. So the other thing is, what's the agent's role? What are you going to be doing?
That was I have written down the 2 big questions: is how can I help you, and how can I make this less stressful for you and your family?
I like that. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys write that down. 2 questions you need to have is, how can I help you? And how can I make this less stressful for you and your family? Is buying a house stressful?
Yes, can be.
It can be incredibly stressful, right?
The section I really liked was bulletproofing the earnest money and making it as hard money.
Okay, we'll
bulletproofing.
Here in a second. So target into the absent owner lists they did. So targeting absent owners, people that are renting out houses in Tucson that don't live in them. If you guys didn't know what an absent owner was, that was a good one. And it's not always just the real estate conversation. Understanding the why, the motivation, the person behind it, not just the real estate conversation.
Yeah, building rapport.
Yeah, because the first appointment was all about the consultation, not just winning them to sign the contract. So creating an opportunity for you to have a good conversation and good rapport.
Yes, I had build rapport, education about the market or how fast it's moving, and then the commission negotiation and the value you add to where there's not really negotiation on your side.
Right. Adding more value from Jump Street. I must have wrote that question down because now I've got, how can I help you and make this less stressful for your family? So then we get the contingencies. Now this was pretty cool. They talk about doing stuff with the earnest money to bulletproof a transaction, because a lot of deals are falling through or a lot of deals are falling out and having issues. So I'm going to start with the 2 questions that they ask every time they have a listing. they ask the buyer's agent, one, how many deals have they been beaten on? Because this shows how many times that buyer has submitted an offer and been beat. And two, how many deals have they walked away from? And this shows us how many deals the buyer has gotten under contract and then subsequently walked away from.
How motivated are they?
How motivated are they? Right. First one is how beat up are they? How real? And secondly is how motivated are they? How serious is this conversation? Then we talked about earnest money being released to the seller up front, have the earnest money released to the seller and then credited back to the buyer at the close of escrow. Talk about anchoring a deal. You have released the money, meaning it's gone. And then they're releasing it to the seller and then being credited to the buyer at the close of escrow. Right? That's some deep thinking right there.
Another thing I really liked also, as far as bulletproofing the transaction, was asking for proof of funds on an appraisal gap.
Yes. When they're offering to pay $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over the appraised value, ask for proof of funds.
Just don't just assume that they have it.
So that was good. That's really making sure that you're taking care of the opportunity for fallout. And always, always, always accept and or submit backup offers. So the biggest thing was that backup offers, there's more houses than ever have been sold 2 or 3 or 4 times. Being that the house has been on the market, someone bought it, failed through inspections, or they failed to walk it or something, goes back on the market, someone else buys it, someone else buys it, someone else buys it. I got a house, this is on the 3rd cancellation right now. And it's okay, because we'll get it sold. It's beautiful on the inside, just ugly on the outside.
I've won 2 for my buyers, 2 buyers that I've had as backup offers, and both of those were able to get in.
Yeah, so definitely get more backup offers, ask more questions, and anticipate more things.
Also, there's 2 other things that I had was, one thing that everybody's doing is, waiving the inspections and everything like that. But I can't remember who it was, which agent it was, but we talked about insist on an inspection because since we're a disclosure state, the buyer can file a lawsuit that basically says that, anything that comes up should have been disclosed in the SPUDs and then start to sue the seller and the listing agent. So I don't know, that one was food for thought, about is insisting on an inspection just to keep you protected and your client protected on the listing side. And then also, I usually call the lender on any offers that we get, but I don't feel like I asked the right questions. I just basically said, well, how does this look? Obviously they submitted a pre-qual, but it was, actually call the lender and ask if they actually looked at the buyer's financial and have them, deeply pre-approved, not just.
Yeah, deep dive.
Yeah.
Yeah, how deeply have you reviewed the buyer's financial situation? So, and then an action item I took away from that is creating a conversation or a question sheet, questions to ask every potential offer being submitted, including how many offers have they been beat on and how many deals have they walked away from.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Yeah, that was solid right there.
Because if they've lost out on a lot of them, kind of really confirms that they're not going to just walk away from this one and is a more solid purchaser.
Right. You want to ironclad your deals as soon as you can, right? If we know that they have a problem walking away from deals, are you going to be as excited to accept that offer? Any questions so far, guys? We're kind of rattling this stuff off quickly, but we want to get through it so you guys can hear about it. Have we lost you completely? Do you need to shake your brains out?
Speed is golden. Speed is golden.
Speed is golden. And lastly, we talked about leveraging the listings. So that's leveraging your listings to get more business. And we go back to earlier, we're talking about the generating of more leads was circle prospecting around the missing offers, circle prospecting around the just listed, under contract, just sold, coming soons. Having all of that communication still out there, regardless if you're going to get 50 offers the first day, still put the extra money into doing those other tasks because it's generating more business. Because the market's gotten easy, we've gotten lazy. Guilty, right? Guilty of not doing some things. If I don't have to spend the $300 on the postcards, I'm not going to. But what am I missing? Who am I not talking to? Which neighbor's house went up for sale after the one I sold when I didn't get him? So does it have to be your listing to market around it?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
If you have a buyer that put an offer in on a house and it went under contract, can you send a postcard that says under contract on this house?
With their permission.
No, you don't need their permission.
I'm sorry, Dan. Repeat what you said? I missed it.
If you are working with a buyer and they put an offer on a house, and you don't have to call out the house specifically. You can just say, hey, offer submitted on this house. We're under contract to sell. If it's a Keller Williams listing, you don't need permission. You can actually market that direct house. But if it's not our company, you can just say this house is under contract. Just sold, right? Once it closes.
So basically, we can market any Keller Williams listing?
Yeah. It's owned by the brokerage.
Wow.
Not owned by me, Mike, Jason. No, it's all.
That's insane. That changes everything. I didn't know that.
The one thing,
Don't run a lead. Go ahead, Jason.
the one thing, like if you're taking, for instance, like Jennifer's 800,000, if you're going to help market that, you would just put in listing courtesy of Jennifer Ritchie. Give credit to whose listing it is.
That works. Very cool. Very cool.
So they were doing reviewing offers for 4 days, so allowing open houses, but they were doing 8-hour open houses, 2 different shifts. So they're doing a morning shift from like 9 to 1, and then from an evening shift from 2 to 6.
Something yesterday or this weekend, and I thought was kind of cool for my open house. Normally I try to do it coming from contribution, some sort of drive, either a blanket and coat drive for the Gospel Rescue Mission, or now that since my wife has cancer, I do for the Arizona Oncology, like coloring books and all that. But this time she's just wanting to sell everything. So we did a garage sale or moving sale while we had the open house, and had a lot of people going through and like, oh, I love this. I love the acreage. So I've got a ton of leads on those.
Like that. Anything else? So another point was doing the open houses. They were having a list of the open houses, like a list of all the properties available within a 2-mile circle. When you're at that open house. So maybe they're in that $800,000 house and they can't qualify for it. But Jennifer does the open house and she shows them that there's 4 other properties around there that are for sale for $250 to $300. And it starts a conversation where that agent now has the opportunity to do business with other clients, not just $800,000 buyers. So that was a good piece of business. And then do the work around an open house. Circle prospect, invite people to it. Door knock, invite people to it. Hand out flyers and invite people to it. You want to have a more successful open house, do more work to get them there. Video listings, videos of the listing. So like a really cool marketing campaign. I like Jennifer's teaser video, stuff like that. Create hype, utilize social media, have fun with it. And then have good
Hey, Dan, I have,
Go ahead, Jason.
it says net worth 4 C's, but I only got 3 C's. What was the 4th one? There's care, curiosity, close, and then something else I'm missing. 4 C's.
It's
Consult,
care,
okay.
curiosity, consult, and close. And then some of the things I'd like to talk about here, some of the major failures they discuss that they've done and gone through, some major failures. The first and foremost I wrote down was not going deep enough into the database. We've covered that a few times today, was the depth of the database was important. What do I mean by going deep in the database?
Details.
Details. Birthday, home anniversary, kids' birthdays, soccer games, trips, favorite colors, pets' names, contests, right? Create opportunities to have conversations. One thing I wrote down I like was wealth portfolio. Do your past clients that own homes that you've sold them know what their net worth is? Do you know what your net worth is? Do you know what a net worth is? I ask because it's the total of your assets less your liabilities. All the shit and what it's worth minus what you owe on it. If you have a $400,000 house, it's worth $400,000 and you owe $300,000, what is your net worth?
100,000.
100,000. Did you know to be in the top 1% of this country, you need a net worth of about $75,000? Sorry, it's top 10%. And to be in the top 1%, you need a net worth of around $300,000 to be considered wealthy in our country. Wealthy. We think wealth, we think of like Bill Gates and shit, right? To be considered wealthy in our country, it's a net worth of $200,000, $300,000. It's insane. Have people made $200,000 in real estate in the last 2 years? Yeah. Some people have earned that much in appreciation. Do they know it? If you don't understand the conversation, how are you going to have the conversation with others? Maybe you need to track your own net worth and get excited when it goes up.
Overdraft.
Overdraft? That is not net worth. That is liability.
That's what it is.
Poor people measure themselves in income. Wealthy people measure themselves in net worth. We can all look up Jeff Bezos' net worth of $119 billion or something ridiculous.
That's insane.
How much cash does he have? Probably not a whole lot. Not compared to his net worth. But he owns a whole lot, right? So do you think more of your clients, including yourself, would like to have a higher net worth? I looked up my net worth. I did all the math, all of it. And I was actually blown away by it because I thought I would be negative. I'm like, I don't have any net worth. You know what changed my life in net worth standing?
Your house?
Owning a house. Is my truck worth anything? No. Because I owe on it. Like I owe what it's worth. Is my razor worth anything? No. Because I owe what it's worth. There's no net worth there. Right? The thousands of rounds of ammunition, are they worth anything? No. They're not liquid assets. But my house, when I bought a house, holy shit, now I've got a net worth. Right? They say like gang, gang, right? Gotta have fun with it. But that was a good thing, is not going deep enough and talking to people about their net worth portfolios. If you have somebody start having a conversation about net worth and they want to buy a house, like if they put $20,000 down, $20,000, 20% down on a property, their net worth just went up that dollar amount. So it went from a liquid asset to an appreciating asset. If you had $100,000 in cash in your bank right now, what good is that doing you? 0.1%. You're going to make $10 a year. Maybe a little higher than that. I'm just being facetious. But that same $100,000 in liquidity, you put that $100,000 into an asset, like buying a home. Do you still have that $100,000? Yeah. It's just in a different form. Now it's in an asset, a cash generating asset. Right? Owen, tell your roommate, get it? Cash generating asset.
I'll let them know. I'll let them know.
But that's the thing is, and then now that asset is creating income. It's creating more wealth.
I see that as an investment.
It's an investment. So if you own one home, do you have an investment property?
Yep.
No,
why?
you have a home.
What?
You do not make money on it. You live there. If you're renting out the backyard, different story. But if that's your primary residence, that is not an investment home. That is a home. When you have a second home or something you rent out for cash flow, is it now an investment? Yes. A lot of people out there think, I bought a house, I'm an investor. No, you bought a house, you're a homeowner. You are on your way to creating wealth.
But you're building equity in that house.
Well, yeah, you're building equity. Is equity an investment? Equity is appreciation. It's a yield.
Until it's paid off, it's technically a liability.
Technically. Jennifer has an investment property. It's her house in California that she didn't sell, that she's renting out and somebody else is paying for. Jennifer's net worth is even higher. Jennifer's net worth now versus 10 years ago when she had that house is probably exponentially different because of the fact that the market has gone up and her liability has gone down. You want a net worth over $1 million, you can consider yourself a millionaire. And you can have 0 cents in the bank and still be a millionaire. How is that possible, Dan? Understanding wealth. So one of the big major failures was them not having that conversation with their clients. One of my failures is not having that conversation with you enough. Help you understand what your money is going to do for you. Buying stuff is not helping you build wealth. Purchasing assets is. Don't be afraid to spend money on stuff that will make you money. Rich Dad or Poor Dad. Jennifer put in the chat, love it. Rich Dad or Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, sorry. And then lastly, I'm going to touch on this so you guys can have a good day. We don't need to work 7 days a week. Our systems must. You don't need to work all the time, but your systems do. Your follow-up, your campaigns, your automation, your website. You don't need to work all the time, but your systems do. What good is it if you shut off your computer, your work stops? Is there any leverage in that? Is technology a leverage if it's utilized correctly? So another major failure is not utilizing technology. You guys have heard of drip campaigns and smart plans? Is that leverage? All right, what's your question, Owen?
If you had only say you could only use 3 forms of systems, of those 3, 3 automated systems, of those 3 automated systems, which 3 would you go with? If you only could use 3.
The lead, what do you mean? The automation, so the email campaigns and stuff?
Yeah, so if you use MailChimp campaigns, like MailChimp, if you use the Facebook ads that constantly go, Facebook ads, like just 3 systems that run on their own. You can only use 3 and not have a.
I use command. Mary Folk, one of our agents, her birthday was yesterday. I did not send her a happy birthday text. Guess who did?
Your command did?
My command system did.
And that command links with your phone to send that text?
No, it's my command phone number. You guys all got the text for today's class, right?
Yeah.
That's through command.
Okay.
I just have it set up that way.
I got to keep playing with command.
The automation is definitely important because it allows you to have leverage when you're not working. I don't have to remember somebody's home anniversary. The system does it for me. Big failure, not going deep on the systems, not going deep in the database, but then not assessing what you have and assigning an automation to it. If you're going to have the database, then it better work for you. So, Mike, Jason, was that worth your guys' time to head up to Scottsdale and be a part of that conversation?
Absolutely.
The rest of you, was it worth your time on the recap?
Oh, yes.
So next time we have a mastermind, are you going to sign up for it?
More than likely. Yes. There we go.
More than likely. That's a gray water term.
Yeah, that's I changed it. I caught myself.
Thing is, guys, this is the power of Keller Williams right here. This is not this book, but I mean, technically it is because it says leads, leverage, and listings. The power of Keller Williams is our ability as agents to connect and to share information. Were those agents all from Arizona?
No.
We had 3 from Arizona, 1 from California, 1 from Boston, 1 from Florida, 1 from, I think, North Hills, North Dakota, I don't know, all over the country, talking about consistencies. Consistencies came from their sphere of influence, their database, and their referral partners. So when you hang up with me today, what are you going to focus on? What are your takeaways that you're going to do today to help put yourself in a better position for tomorrow?
Deep
Work
database.
on my database.
Deep dive, two database dives, right?
I'm gonna have to work on my systems, on my automated systems for sure.
Yeah, me too, the automation.
Systems.
Yeah.
Steph, your husband, freaking, he is the trainer for this stuff. I know probably when he gets home, he's so done. He's just like, but that's the thing is, allow yourself the time to figure it out. If you get stuck, ask questions. But
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I've been doing is everything I do is by intention. So when I post on social media, like my big thing about my engagement, everybody who liked it, if I hadn't talked to them like within the last 24 hours already, I would shoot them a message. I knew that they were on. I'd say, hey, long time, how you been? And it got those conversations going, kind of like forward calls. But if you post and someone likes something you post, don't just say, oh, I got a like, yay.
No, go engage. I love that. Be intentional. That's a good word. Be intentional. Be purposeful. It goes back to our conversation last week, right? Busy versus purposeful. All right. If you guys missed that conversation, I feel bad for you. That was a good one. That was a good scripting call. Like this morning. Wasn't this morning a good one too?
It was.
Raise your hand if you missed it. Sorry, life sucks. It's okay. It's okay. That one's actually one I'll put up online. So somebody tomorrow morning remind me to put that one online. So any questions before we go, guys? Thank you so much for your participation and your attention to this. I love sharing these things with you guys and giving back to our community. So I try to involve myself in many of these conversations as possible so that I can take that information and boil it down for you guys to use. There is no secret pill in real estate. It's just executing on the fundamentals flawlessly. And those people that have done enough business to fail enough have just figured it out. Let's listen to them because they've already figured it out, all right? All right, my friends, high fives.